Hi everyone, this is a video lesson on calculating speed through speed, distance, time calculations. We are going to do a quick starter first on how to calculate distance, which we did in last day's lesson. Please complete one of the questions here and then come back on for the answers. Okay, question 1. Now for both questions we're using the same formula. Speed times time is how we calculate the distance. We have to know the speed and the time to be able to get the distance travelled. Now, the hours, so miles per hour and hour, they are the same unit, therefore we can just multiply these numbers together. So 50 times 4 gives us 200. We look at the speed units to find out what units our distance is in. That's mph, so miles per hour. Question 2, we are still doing the same formula. In this case, we're told the speed is 62 kilometres per hour, so that's 62. Our time is in hours and minutes, but we must change that into just hours so that it matches up with our kilometres per hour. Okay, we use our decimal time, so that would be 2.75 for the decimal time. So we've got to multiply those two together. 60 times 2.75, giving us 170.5 kilometres. The units, distance units and the speed are kilometres, therefore kilometres go on the end. So when calculating average speed, we can still use the distance, speed, time triangle that's on the right hand side of your page, the one that we looked at a little while ago. So what we are looking at with this question here is we are given a distance and we are given a time, and we then are able to calculate the average speed. Now it's very important that this is average speed we are calculating and not top speed or lowest speed. It's the speed on average that they took for the whole distance. Now we'll look a bit more at that. There's a nice wee activity to do on it when we come to the end of the week, but just now we'll just take it as is. So we're always finding average speed with these questions. So if we were to try and use the triangle to create this formula here, I could say, well, I want to find speed, so let's cover up speed. And then I've got here distance and time. Now there's a reason that distance is on the top of this triangle. That line here represents the fraction line. So essentially what that is d over t. Now we know that any fraction represents the top number divided by the bottom number. So d over t actually represents distance divided by time, which is in the formula over on the left hand side. So we have to do our distance divided by time to find the speed. And our distance is 5 miles. Divide that by number of hours, which is 2. Now this speed is going to be measured in miles per hour, so it's always distance per time. Okay, and we try and keep these as common as possible. So miles per hour, kilometres per hour, metres per second, if we're using those two units. Just to try and keep it as normal as possible, as everyday life as possible. So 5 divided by 2 gives us 2.5, and our units are going to be miles per hour. So mph is the standard notation for miles per hour. These three questions here are very similar. We're only going to do the top two, just miss out that bottom one there because it is very, very the same. So in the first one, speed equals distance divided by time. Distance is 120, time is 3 hours. We're looking at miles and hours, so it's got to be miles per hour. 120 divided by 3 is 40, and put our miles per hour on the end. Again, the same calculation for this next question, distance divided by time. So 60 miles divided by 2 hours gives us 30 miles per hour. Just like we did with the distance calculations, we can also convert our hours and minutes, or just minutes, into hours to be able to complete these calculations. So the reason that we want to do this for this type of question, to calculate the speed, is because we want to try and keep our notation and our units as normal as possible. So if I change 2 hours and 15 minutes into just hours, I will get the notation miles per hour, because I'll have miles and I'll have hours as my two units. So in this case, I changed 2 hours 15 minutes into 2.25 and use that in the calculation. The distance is given as 85.5. Divide that by 2.25 and we'll find out the speed. So we can use a calculator for these, that's absolutely fine. And we will get 38 miles per hour. Next calculation here, so again it's still distance divided by time. In this case I am given my time in 12 minutes. Now if I was to do 9 divided by 12, which I mean is a reasonable calculation, I would be finding my units in miles per minute. Now that's not a normal measurement of speed. We don't tend to use that in the real world. That's why I want to change this into 0.2 hours. Okay, so that's the reason. That means I'm getting then my speed in miles per hour rather than miles per minute. So distance is 9, the new time is 0.2. 9 divided by 0.2 gives me 45 miles per hour. Okay, so pinks, again, you will be seeing questions like these ones here and the one done in the previous slide, and yellows and purples you will have to do some questions at the end of your worksheet that involve you converting the time. Okay, you will find all of your information and worksheets etc. on the Teams page. If you can go there just now and get yourself familiar with those questions. Please ask if you've got any questions or need any help with your worksheet, and make sure take a wee picture and upload it if you can as well. Okay, thank you for listening.